God knows what's going to happen with housing. God knows what's going to happen with the market. A lot of people that are going to be in hot water, they're going to be in trouble, and it provides a lot of opportunities. Now, I want to make this doggone clear. This is not an opportunity to take advantage of people. Will you be compensated? Absolutely. But this is not a scenario where, man, I'm just going to go screw everybody over because they're in a tough spot. That's not how we do business. Okay? But there's a lot of money to be made by solving very specific problems. I think a lot of real estate is going to be abandoned. I think a lot of neighborhoods are going to radically change, especially like lower income neighborhoods. How do we build better businesses and how do we create better investors? That's my entire goal here. It is what I'm passionate about, and showing different people these are the options that are in front of you. And depending on what you're good at, and depending on what you're passionate about, and your timeline and your starting finances, what we can do is we can help you determine what is the best path forward. Maybe it's real estate. Maybe you should be trading Forex for an hour or two a day and making 1, 2, 3, 4, 20% a day. I don't know. Maybe it's crypto. Maybe it's getting involved and we have ownership in a gold mine in Africa. My point is, I don't know. Everybody is going to be unique in the fact that everybody wants something, but everybody has a different scenario. John is going to be different than Jennifer. Roger's going to be different than Crystal. We all have different starting points, and we all have different starting capacity. Capacity can mean finances, can mean time, but every single person here is different. I absolutely despise educators that say it has to look like this. It's real estate is the best thing in the world. For some people, Forex is the best thing in the world. For some people, but everybody's different. So what path makes the most sense for you? What journey makes the most sense for you? Not only for you, but for where you're at right now, okay? Where I was at a decade ago and what was good for me at that point and what fit my goals and my viewpoint and my starting capital. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, 10 years ago, I was a little bit younger. I had a little bit more energy than I do now, right? I had a lot less money, but I had a lot more energy. So guess what? Working my tail off and wholesaling real estate was a great fit. It really suited me at that point in time. I have a 2.5-year-old. His name's Cullen Maddox Payne. Now, ain't that a strong name? It's a strong family name, boy. Guess what? He takes up a lot more of my time, and he demands a lot more attention than I had when I was 20. Okay? So my point is like, don't get caught up in this bullshit. It has to look like this now. It doesn't. I'm telling you, it doesn't. There's nothing wrong with pivoting. I did a live call a couple days ago. Maybe it was last week on pivoting. There's nothing wrong with this season. It looked like this, and I did real estate, and then I did this, and then I got really, really tired. Or a lot of people, if you guys remember a couple years ago, I got sick and I was not able to operate like I did then. There's still people that are dealing with the aftermath of having COVID years later. They can't operate the same way. It like messed with people mentally, like brain fog. You just remember brain fog? I thought it was a joke. I never got COVID, at least not that I know of. But everyone was talking about this brain fog, and I couldn't relate because I wasn't in that season. I want you guys to be open-minded. I want you guys to really, really, really have a heart-to-heart with yourself and say, what makes sense for me right now? I have more time than I have money. Great, let's come up with a strategy. Jordan, I don't have a lot of time because I work 9 to 5 and then blah, blah, blah. But I've got a little bit of money set aside where I can really leverage that to accomplish something that makes sense for me long-term. Great. There's people in this community that are looking for X this year. It needs to happen this year, and this is what I'm trying to accomplish. This could be way different than the guy that's got 10 years or 20 years or 50 years. Way different, is it not? Is this making sense? So this season, I know I already did a call about seasons, but it's still relevant. But this time that we're in now is about to become very interesting for a lot of people. I posted about this in the Kingdom Real Estate. What I see coming in the next 6 to 12 months is I see a lot of normal people not being able to afford normal life. Normal people cannot afford to live a normal life, okay? When this happens, what the government does is the government loves to step in and they love to save the day. But people need the following things to survive. They need housing, they need food, they need medical, and they need money. Housing, food, medical, and money. What I see happening, and you guys can call me a conspiracy theorist if you want. This is my call. I get to talk about what I want to talk about. Place to live. Government can control that with Section 8. food stamps, that whole program. Medical is what is it, Medicaid? It's the Obama stuff that came out where basically everyone has to have blank. Government came out and said, hey, you have to have blank, and if you don't, we're going to punish you. And then money, they can control that with taxes. But bigger picture here, guys, and zooming out, there's going to be a lot of people, normal people, that are not going to be able to afford to live a normal life, and they're going to really be reliant on government. God knows what's going to happen with housing. God knows what's going to happen with the market. A lot of people that are going to be in hot water, they're going to be in trouble, and it provides a lot of opportunities. Now, I want to make this doggone clear. This is not an opportunity to take advantage of people. This is not an opportunity to take advantage of people. Will you be compensated? Absolutely. But this is not a scenario where, man, I'm just going to go screw everybody over because they're in a tough spot. That's not how we do business. Okay? But there's a lot of money to be made by solving very specific problems. I think a lot of real estate is going to be abandoned. I think a lot of neighborhoods are going to radically change, especially like lower income neighborhoods are going to start to change. You're going to see a lot of people, even wealthy people, going into pre-foreclosure because their businesses are changing, because the patrons that support their business no longer have money for anything out of the core: shelter, food, medical. Outside of those three, people are going to have disposable income. I literally see this happening now. There's people that can't even afford a $49 or a $97 subscription in the kingdom. I'm not saying that to be a dick. It's just how it is. Like, people are tight on money. Houses are going to become abandoned. Neighborhoods are going to start to change. Successful, wealthy people whose businesses are reliant on just average people, they're going to start to struggle. There's going to be a lot of pivoting happening. Within that, every time that has ever happened in the history of the United States, there's people that have risen up and there's people that have, I guess, fallen down. That's just how it goes. So a couple scenarios here. Let's say that you happen to wholesale real estate. You need to identify very, very quickly the guys that are rising up, the guys that are preparing for this opportunity. The people that are falling down is going to be very obvious, but you need to find the guys that are raising to the opportunity. I think maybe 2 out of 10 real estate investors are going to make it. If you're a business owner, let's say you're not even involved in real estate. If you're a business owner, you need to figure out how to weather the storm. How do we weather the storm? How can I survive? And I did a stress test. I'm trying to tell you guys how to literally survive. How do we weather the storm? Okay. Things like liquidity start to become important. But I did a stress test. This was like 4 months ago. And I asked the question, if everything came crashing down right now, just what's at your house food-wise, how long could you survive? Water becomes screwed just at your house. How much water do you have? I don't know if you guys know the math on how long you can go without water. It's not very long. You can go far more without food, okay? If crap hits the fan and you needed to protect yourself physically, I'm not making this a gun conversation, but you guys get where I'm going with this. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. I'm not trying to be end of the world. I'm just saying, as a point, the world is going to get kind of crazy, and you've got to figure out, how do I weather the storm? As a business owner, sure. As an individual, absolutely. Does that make sense? We got 3 weeks, we got 7 days. Something you might want to think about, guys. So there's going to be a lot of people, and your guys' job, for those of you that are involved in real estate, your job is going to be able to communicate very, very effectively how you solve problems. World's going to hell in a handbag. You need to be, I know you guys can't see it, but I have these massive, 100-foot projectors that are projecting logos inside of the building. But you guys need to figure out, from a marketing standpoint, how do you the bat signal? How do you guys turn on and create the bat signal saying, this is what I do, this is my specialty, this is how I can help? Real estate or not, you need to figure out, how do I communicate that? Because you're going to start to attract people that are really, really struggling, and you've got to have a solution for these people. Does that make sense? Things are gonna get interesting. Things are already interesting. The media probably does not want to project the fact that things are getting interesting. Everything's great. Everything's good. Everything's good. Everything's good. So how do we communicate? How do we market the fact that this is the problem that I solve, and this is how I can help you? Anybody need advice or some tactic on how you're going to communicate what you do, how you can help people during this time? So what problems do I think people have? Pre-foreclosure is going to go through the roof. So people are not going to be able to afford to pay their mortgage. It's already happening in waves right now. That's very specifically. Situations that are a little bit unique, like maybe a probate, maybe a divorce. People are going to stop being able to buy houses like they used to. So I think we're going to see the more creative solutions kind of come out of the woodworks because there's not going to be as many people buying. Dude, if you can't afford your food, you're probably not buying real estate. If you can't afford your medical bills, you're probably not buying real estate. So more people are going to be in that situation. So there's going to be more properties on the market with less people that are qualified to buy. So creative solutions are going to come very, 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 very effective here in the near future. Section 8, yes. Section 8 is going to be huge because Section 8's already overwhelmed. In Montana, I had a multi-million-dollar portfolio, and one of the clients that we worked with was Section 8. This was years ago. I've been in Ohio for 3 years, so this was at least 3 years ago. So at least 3 years ago, Section 8 was overwhelmed. Affordable housing, like all of these, there's multiple programs. If they were overwhelmed 3 years ago, and there's this massive flood of people requesting assistance, I can't even imagine. Landlords, like the wait list right now for Section 8 is through the roof. So imagine, like Jennifer specifically, like what problems, that's a huge problem. Not only on the Section 8 side, but on the landlord side, they don't have capacity. Okay, so if we can provide them capacity, that's a massive solution that we can provide. How do you see marketing being most effective in a world with so much noise? Yeah, see now we talking, guys. Now we talking. What a great question. You've got to understand, guys, that 90% of people in real estate market the exact same way. They say the same thing. If you guys have ever seen like the yellow letters, you know how many people are using yellow letters? That's a 30 in the I buy houses cash bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. That copywriting is 33 years old. So as an example, people have been using the same copywriting, which is the words on paper, for 33 years. Everybody says the same thing. Everybody posts the same thing in the same groups. So how do we be effective is we come up with a unique voice. We come up with unique marketing, right? I know that that's like a generic answer. I'm not trying to be generic here. My point is like everybody else is giving a generic message. Let me see if I can share this with you guys. Good questions. We're gonna go deep this morning. So what I like to do is I really like to capture attention. So from a marketing standpoint, this is our format. This is the most effective format. I do not care if you are doing yellow letters. I don't care if you're doing postcards. I don't care if it's a text message. I don't care if it's a bandit sign. I don't care what it is. This is the format. Headline, subheadline, body, call to action. So when I want to become unique, the very first thing that I do is I start to play around with this headline, something that would capture someone's attention. If you saw this, if you were a real estate whatever, and you saw this headline, we are all effed. That is so much different than I buy houses cash. It's going to capture someone's attention. If you can, put an emoji in here, like as an example. No, seriously, real estate is out of control right now. Make this a hair bigger for you guys. And nobody knows what to do. My subheadline, my body is how I'm going to start to communicate what I do. My family and I, this is specific. It's not, I buy houses cash, my family and I. What if it was this? My son and I, me and Cullen, my son and I are looking to help a few people. We can't help everyone, but we are able to assist with a few houses in the next few months. This is scarcity. Et cetera. Shoot me a text if you want to meet up. So when we start to look at how do we become different, you can differentiate yourself by different headlines and different subheadlines. I normally do this like a bold blank, a little bit smaller, but still bold. This is normally like this. A lot of times my marketing, guys, I swear to you, my marketing is so much more effective than 99% of people because 99% of people have no idea how to market. Not only do they not understand how to market, they're terrified of doing anything different. They're terrified of doing anything unique. So they fall into this, my guru told me to just do blank. And that's all they ever do. And because that's all that they ever do, they fall into the trap of sounding like everybody else. If I'm a seller and I get 55 postcards and they all look the same, I have no idea who to talk to. As often as I can, I'm using really strong images. See if I can't. There we go. Something like this. This could be a Craigslist ad. It could be on Facebook Marketplace. It can be a letter. You can put images in letters, guys. Is this making sense? So guys, we can go over this as much as you want. We can start to really dive deep on marketing. I can give you guys a list of like my top headlines, but if it's pre-foreclosure, my headline is anti-bank. The bank is trying to murder you. The bank is trying to screw you. The bank is trying to take advantage of you. The bank is trying to steal everything you've worked so damn hard to build. If I'm sending this to pre-foreclosure, that is going to immediately capture their attention. The bank is trying to steal what you and your family worked so hard to build. Dude, if I'm in pre-foreclosure, and for anybody that's like not tracking here, pre-foreclosure means you're behind on your mortgage payments, and the bank is now threatening to steal your property. Okay? The bank is trying to steal your property. You guys understand that it's little old mom and pop versus a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. It's David versus Goliath. That'd be some good copywriting. It's David versus Goliath. If it is probate, meaning somebody has died, my headline, my subheadlines are going to change. If it's landlords, a headline would be something like, I don't even see how landlords can make it right now. Subheadline, it was never really supposed to be like this. Rob St. John nailed it. First step is alignment with your avatar. Alignment with your avatar for sure, especially as avatars are changing a little bit right now. Your avatar, assuming that the world continues to go to hell in a handbasket, your avatar is going to change. It's going to become a little bit more intense for them, is what I'm saying. But for sure, we want to be in alignment with our avatar, and then our messaging needs to be really unique. Again, dumpster fire. The world is in trouble. This is how I help. Here's how you can get help. Headline, subheadline, body. Call to action is, what do you want them to do? I want them to text me. Great, that needs to be your call to action. I want them to visit my website. Great, that needs to be the action. Make sense?